What's up, y'all? Tonal Rats to Terraform. This is a Patreon exclusive that I am making public on the YouTube for two reasons. One, because I'm trying to up my YouTube game. As you can see, the camera quality is way better. Shout out to homie Curtis King. But if you join the Patreon, you get this podcast that starts from the beginning of my career all the way to the end of it. Well, I don't know if it's the end, but up until now, going through every lyric of every song, all the stories, all the everything is called Tonal Rats to Terraform. In addition to that, you get all the Hood Politics episodes early. In addition to that, there is a whole other merch store that has a whole other set of merch that is available to you if you would join the Patreon. It's patreon.com/the Red Couch Pod. Every once in a while, Alma jumps in so you can hear from her. We are on the Crooked record. I'm about to talk about the song Olympian. I am rocking my coffee is hip hop tea from the homie Brandon Seabrook, who actually roasts this glorious coffee that I'm drinking, this Terraform, the city. So that's the forever sponsor, is the coffee. And the forever sponsor is the mirror. You know what I'm saying? Always representing, always with us. So thankful for Mir and all they've been and what they continue to be in the world. Here we go. Olympian. Let me pull up the lyrics here. You're an Olympian. Did you feel me? Olympian, say it with me. Hey, you may or may not know that is Xavier Omar on the chorus. Great story about that, which I will tell you right now. So essentially, we had just did the Uncomfortable tour with Andy. A lot of this came around this time where he was still going by Spazzy Rocket, and the Blind Man song had like popped off, right? But he and I became friends. One, because I kind of tapped his shoulder on some like big homie like love kind of like tip of just being like, you need to be able to recognize a friend zone when you see it, and you're worth more than this. You should like stop letting people, and I know it's because you crave, I'm not, anyway, I just kind of big homied him, in a way that I wish a big homie would have done me, in the sense that it was a little kinder. But just wanted to like, hey man, this is what I see. I hope this is not offensive. This is just me after so many years of marriage and just seeing a young man who clearly wants to be in love, that you're settling for crumbs. So we had us a little heart to heart on the bus, that after, oftentimes when I have little heart to hearts with homies, like you sometimes often walk away thinking, did I overstep my bounds? Was that any of my business to talk about? I think about that a lot. But he ended up voice recording the conversation we had, and it made it onto one of his records as an interlude. But anyway, he made it a point on Olympian he did not want his name mentioned. And at first I was like, but I need your name for the feature. Like, why would you do, like, why would you not want? At first I took it personal, and then he started explaining. He was like, he just thinks it's dope. You have to remember, you think of like Good Kid, Mad City, on Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe. It's Erykah Badu. She's not listed. I am a sinner who's probably gonna sin again. On Good Kid, that is Pharrell. Mass illumination, baby. Wanna be front in your election, right? So he was like, I think it's dope that like records are doing that. Like that, like you don't. It's cool for the discovery to be like, oh crap, that's that food. So I was with it. Um, this beat was from Jr. Same person that did "It's Not Working." Um, I thought this to be somewhat of like a radio single, to which I played it to the homies, and they were like, "The song is hard. Like, you think this is radio?" And I was like, "Bro, it's so catchy." Right? Like I thought this is like this is me climbing out of the underground thinking that what I was doing uh was a little more catchy, right? Now, so we have friends. I gave him the hook, and I did like I did on Do No Wrong, where it was just like, okay, listen, I do not have. I can't even say I don't have a great singing voice. I don't even got a good singing voice. I could cheat during praise and worship to harmonize with the rest of y'all to where you don't notice. I'll hit a few notes like on the song Forest with Namis. There's a few. I'm doing some BGVs in there. For your flesh and bone, before they chop them down. Like, so I'm doing a few of those. But you gotta tuck me. Don't let me be the lead vocals. So anyway, I sent it to him with my like, hold on, you're an Olympian, Olympian. Oh, you're an Olympian. Trying to do something a little more simple because, like we talked about, if you were part of this pod on the Crimson Chord, I was like, I thought, the pain that guides us, the strings that tie. It's so wordy, So it took people like Derek Minor, you know what I'm saying, and a bunch of other friends to be like, bro, like, tell us the idea and we'll make it catchy, right? So I remember specifically I was driving, I sent it to Xavier. We lived in Long Beach at the time. I was driving and I like had texted him, like, I was texting and driving. I was like, yeah, so what do you think? He's like, yeah, man, I'll try to work on it. Very honest. Like, I appreciate when if I send you to a feature for you just being real with me, like, I honestly, like, I'm in the middle of an album, I don't have time for it. Or like, I'm just not like, this isn't a beat I like. Can you send me something else? Like, I prefer to be very honest with me. Because again, as mentioned many times in this pod, I get in my feelings over features. So there's that. But I appreciate when you're honest, right? So he goes, so I was like, yeah, just let me know, man, because like I'm gonna have to figure something else out. He goes, hold on, I caught a wave, right? That was his text. Hold on, I caught a wave. So I was like, okay, cool. That boy sent that chorus. I was like, yes. I feel like it was one of the best songs I've ever made. And obviously I was trying to send it to the Olympics, but that didn't happen. Maybe one day. I mean, there's no expiration on that. It's coming to LA. Maybe just tell my manager, like, get this song to the Olympics for LA 2028. Figure it out. Anyway, so this beat was probably one of the most challenging, like, ones. Like dropping it on the one because of the way that roll falls. It's so difficult. And even when we do it live and I have a drummer with me, like playing to the track, they're like, it's so hard the count is crazy. And like, for some reason, I'm attracted to producers that do stuff like that. So like, JR do that, D Steel be doing that, where you be like, nigga, where is the, and I think that came from working with Dirt, shout out to 626er. And I remember this song on Journey's record, Journey from the Tonal Rats, Y'all niggas know my name. This was the best have been a mouse and ain't a thing go change. We were in the studio because the beat goes boom, dun, 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 dun. The whole time, we thought the one was dun, 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 dun. I thought that was the one. Rafi was like, no, the one is the downbeat, the boom, dun, 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 boom. I was like, what? Like, I couldn't hear it at. It's so stupid to talk about it now because now I can't not hear it. But I was like, where are you supposed to rap on this? Boom, dun, 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 boom. Y'all niggas know my name. And what Journey would do is a lot of stuff that I do, which is I start the rap on the 2, right? So if you go back to, it's just fun. If you go back to Slow Your Roll, it's another one of those like, where's the one? Do do got to get to do do. You would think no, the one is the do do. This is so stupid. Do do. So for me, and then the verse comes in, and it's like, it's freaking dirt. But anyway, so I started that rap on like at spots where they gather. So you start at the 2 or the 3, you start a little later. It's nerdy rap stuff, which is what this pod's about. Anyway. So that's that. Context. Jamal, DJ Malski, former DJ of the Rams. He's now at the Phoenix Cardinals, LA Sparks, USC. He produced the People EP. He's just one of the most talented dudes I've ever met, and probably one of the hardest working DJs in Los Angeles. Hardest working man in Los Angeles. Malski knows everyone. It's the most amazing thing. Like Malski, he's one of those examples of just being like, this is what it means to be good in every room you're in. It's because you've been a good dude for so long. So yeah, like Malski just knows everyone. And I think a lot of times, I don't think he'll feel weird about me saying this, but sometimes he feels away in the sense of like not knowing who's like really a friend of his, in the sense of like who just wants tickets to the game or access to his friends. So I think he's very, very protective of his phone book, if you will. Like he very rarely will connect people because he feel like he's been used so often over it. Which I totally understand. And so there's been times where I was like, bro, you're at the 1500 Academy. Like, my nigga, can you call the homie? Like, I want to go. You feel me? Like, dog, we go back to since the 90s, homie. Like, like, can I go? But, it's because I love him and I understand him, and he is really and truly my friend that I don't. It's fine. Anyway, he and his lovely wife Bianca, they had just had a miscarriage, and also DJ Official had recently passed, which again was, like I said on the episode about It's Not Working, that's how me and JR finally connected for some production. But we had connected, got the beat, and I had like not heard from Malski in a while. Malski's the type of dude that, like, you had the friends that don't you kind of don't talk to for a long time, and then you pick up right where you left off. It's like no big deal. Malski's like that. Like we'll go weeks where we talk like almost every day, and then it'll be like 2 months, and we just don't talk. At this time though, he's rather like with his home life, you have to be like his friend to like really know what's going on with his home life. He's actually about to do a book, so like I feel a little more free to like talk about some of this now. But they had gone through a miscarriage, and the reality is it was one of many miscarriages, and I these are things that like some of those stuff is just like you have to really, if you really only understand if you went through it, my daughter's godparents, they lost a daughter when she was 2. They had a miscarriage before that. For some reason, they have this weird gene thing where when they make girls, the girls get this really bad blood disease from some sort of recessive trait in both of them. It's all bad. Anyway, there's a type of relation. There's a type of that I just can't relate to. The reality of like that's the 2 a.m. when everybody brought all the meal train meals have come and all the cards and all the flowers and people have came and stayed with you and cried with you, but at the end of the day they got to go home. And when it is just you or just you and your partner, experiencing that type of intense emotion, what do you say to that person? There's just some of y'all know, Tadashi lost a son, and it turns out like a lot of people, more people than you think, have lost a child, whether it's a miscarriage, a stillbirth, or, in their early childhood. It's not dope. So, and sometimes what do you say to this person? So this was the inception of this first verse. Because the verses were done before I gave it to Xavier for him to write the chorus that he wrote. So he kind of knew what I was talking about. Now, obviously, at the time, none of this stuff was spoken to, publicly. I think this was around the time too that like Jay Givens disclosed, some situations with me. One, he came out, and then 2, it was some other stuff he told me. So like there were some like a lot of like death looming around and a lot of like survival, man. And it's just like, dog, like I'm just so impressed by these people that I love so dearly, really showing the type of like, fortitude, this strength that's like not unrealistic. These people are willing to cry and weep and mourn and struggle and admit when things are super hard, and still they keep on. You're Olympians. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I'm so impressed, like I'm so inspired, and that's kind of where this song came on, and of course in the concept of crooked, it's like, even through all the stuff I just talked about, the song before this is Andrew Mandela, you know what I'm saying? So even through all of the narrative that we're talking about, we are still here. That's one thing that I will always go back to as a person of color, throughout all of the thousands of years of colonial white supremacy, oppression, just wars, and just the evil that men do to each other and men do to humanity and have done to the earth. For some reason, oppressed people are still alive. Like, it's kind of bonkers to think that the Holocaust actually didn't end the Jews. They did. It, you didn't. You didn't. It. You. They lost. Like, you lost. Like, you didn't. Your goal was to wipe them out. You didn't. How? Like, obviously this is a gross oversimplification, but like, it blows me away that people survive. So, the type of fortitude that I love me in alliteration. You know, I got that passion for alliterations from Odd Thomas. He loves alliteration. So, the type of fortitude forged from falling apart flesh, liquid lace lungs, the phlegm was swims inside his chest. This was about DJ Official. Blood test positive, odds of finding a spouse minimal. HIV be clipping the wings of an ex-criminal. So this is a little bit of a hybrid of storytelling and meaning it's a bunch of friends. Blood test positive, odds of finding a spouse minimal. HIV be clipping the wings of an ex-criminal. Stage 4 surgery. Stage 4 surgery won't make a difference. Call the family. You know what I'm talking about. Cancer, right? Hoping against hope. Let me know how it goes. Hoping and hope. Let me know how it goes. Hoping and hope. Let me know how it goes. Oh, the lyrics are wrong. In the end zone with a broken nose, right? Hoping and hope somebody knows how it goes. In the end zone with a broken nose. Your bones give up, but you better not, though. The real you is permanent with a perfected purpose. So obviously I'm talking about the fact that like our bodies rot, you know, but we're more than just our bodies, you know. That question of like, what is the real you? I would have had a better answer for, or a more convinced answer in 2016. I would have sworn that I knew, but the more that I just grow and understand and learn about my own self, psychology, you know, sociology, the concept of the psyche, just religion, all of it is like, dude, I think we really don't. The idea that the concept of the self had to become a concept. Like, we had to like we thought of it. We used to not have a sense of self. Like, our idea of self was in relation to our family and community. We didn't individualize until much later. Anyway, the real you was permanent with a perfected purpose, right? I'm singing to the faith, right? Treasure in clay vessels, don't let this body fool you. I always felt like that verse in Corinthians. So we have this treasure wrapped in earthen vessels. Like, I've always felt like that has really, for me, been something that has always reminded me of like, it's a very calibrating phrase. I've always gone back to it. Like, your bodies give up, you know? It's inevitable. It's gonna give up. Like, all we're doing is trying to slow it down, you know, and making the best with the time that we have. That's why I always thought the whole YOLO thing, the you only live once thing, was kind of stupid, because it's like, well, if you only have one life, shouldn't you cherish it? Like, rather than being frivolous with it, because you only got one. That's called a rarity, right? Like, if there's a one of one, it costs $1,000,000,000. So why would you just be all frivolous with it? So anyway, woman found the power to push out of her a human. 7 miscarriages carrying planted on left hip. Now the seven is for the rap, but I'm referring to Mosky and his family and his lovely wife Bianca. You are more than your bones. If you don't know that, get hip, right? So an experience that I can't possibly truly comprehend is finding out you got stage 4 cancer. Personally, there are many people in my family died of cancer, but obviously I don't have the cancer. I just wonder about that fear, man. I married a Latina lady who is freakishly fertile. So hold on, don't you stop now, baby. Show your fight now, baby. So good. Baby. Such a great chorus. Um, Show your fight now, baby. Hold on. You can't quit now, baby. You're an Olympian, baby. And then that boy got busy. He said, you want peace? Well, that means war. Don't lose heart of what you're fighting for. You want strength? Well, that means pain. Now it's you against everything. You're an Olympian. So good. Dog, live, it makes me wish I could sing because I want to like, oh man, it's such a good moment. You're an Olympian, did you feel me? You're an Olympian, sing it with me. You're an Olympian. Keep on fighting, you know, Olympian. Yeah, dog. That boy blazed that mug. Oh man. And he looking at his knees bleeding like, I don't believe you. Standing in the mirror, that boy, that team needs you. Now there's some Kobe talk. That torn up Achilles getting that squad to the playoff, and the doc say that 6 months your legs you gotta stay off. But he can't shake them headaches, detoxing that Oxycontin, he shivers and he quakes. And she ain't got retirement, a lifelong wage worker, hates her environment, and I don't blame her, but hold on. So this verse, there's a little bit of like, looking back, a little bit of toxic sort of, it's such a buzzword, but like, I'm from the generation that's not the Simone Biles, in the sense that like, I ain't got sense enough to sit down when I'm hurt. When my head's not in the game now, you know, in the 40 range, you feel me? I come from the play through it. I come from the like, take an ice pack, drink some Gatorade, get back on the field, get back on the court. You know, I got the Mamba, the Kobe thing, when the man tore his Achilles and still hit 2 free throws and then walked off the court himself. I come from that, which obviously when you hurt, if you start playing before you heal, your healing takes longer. I don't come from that. I come from like, can you walk? Okay, get back on. Right? So I feel like I would maybe rethink this verse a little more to kind of like not encourage that, you know. But that's where I came from, right? And the doc say that 6 months your legs you gotta stay off. In my head, I'm like, oh, you mean 3 months? Because ain't nowhere in the world I'm staying off. We gotta get to the playoffs. I'm staying, right? So that like hold on kind of, I've said so many times, my toxic masculinity, my bad version of masculinity is not the slay chicks, you know, so I can beat you up. Mine is the workaholic. I'll rest when I die, like I'll sleep when I'm dead type, just overworking. Actually, Alma called me on it yesterday, actually being proud of this camera setup. She was like, there was a cord I didn't need and I needed to take it back. I wanted to return it, but I couldn't find it. And once I did find it, I want to return. But either way, she was trying to talk to me about the Bad Bunny record, and I was so distracted. And I was honest about it. I was like, I'm so distracted. I just need to find these chords so I can return them. She's like, it's giving workaholic. And I'm like, you're right. I just need to I just want to finish. Like, you ever been like, so like, I have to finish this so I can think about something else? Like, that's the vibe. That's where I was at. Anyway, I come from that. And he can't shake them headaches, detoxing that Oxycontin, he shivers and he quakes. I don't know if you know anyone who has gotten sober. Again, this is going back to, and Jay's been open about it, because the Fly Exam record was about him getting sober. And like, how do you describe withdrawals? Like when you're detoxing? What, like, My closest is detoxing from coffee. For like, it's like if you try to detox from that caffeine, like you got a good week of you feel like somebody socked you in your forehead, in your temples for a good 5 days straight. But detoxing something that you like, something like a oxycontin, like that detox, you can't. It is unimaginable. The way that Jeremiah explained it to me, I can't even. He's like, you go, it's coming. So you know it's coming. So you're like, let me just set up a room, get to this room, wrap myself in a blanket, get me what I need. And it's going to end. But he's like, the shivers, the body quakes are insane. I have an uncle, a couple uncles, but one that I knew personally, got really hooked on heroin. And I remember him trying to detox a couple times. He tried to do it at my dad's house, and it just did not work out. He just went right back. He was like, I can't do it. He eventually overdosed. But these stories are not just, I think that especially with, I hate to say it, but with the opioid epidemic, it reminded America that this is not just, drug use is not just a poverty black thing. Anybody can get it. It happens to every family. It's just y'all don't talk about it. We talk about it, and it's nothing to be embarrassed about because you're sick. That's what it is. You're sick. I'm like, if my daughter got sick, I'm not embarrassed about it. She's sick, So that's what that is. God, man, just, and how you get on it is like, I mean, like, again, life is hard and people are trying to find releases and escapes, and drugs work. Like, I don't know how else to say it. They work. And I hate the way, fucking hate the way the country talks about drug use. Of course, like crackhead jokes are crackhead jokes. But if you understand what leads a person to that, and that it can happen to anyone. It's just real. And then the next line, she ain't got retirement, a lifelong wage worker, hates her environment, but I don't hate. Like, what are you supposed to do? I mean, now I'm gonna get into the hood politics stuff about, the retirement age getting pushed back. The Trump just raised the cost of insulin after it was already lowered. So all of our drugs, all of your granny's drugs about to cost more, thanks to y'all asked for this. I don't get to escape it. He my president too. I understand because I live here, but like, it costs more now. It is what it is. They cost more now. So, and the age of retirement is now higher. Good looking boomers. Oh man, I don't know why they're doing this to us. There's no money in the Social Security. It's been bled. Like there's nothing there. But secure the border. Anyway, I don't blame her, dog. Like, people, like, the realization that we are probably, our generation, millennials, we're probably gonna work until our death because our parents sucked up all the wealth. This was supposed to be encouraging, but you're an Olympian. And then it goes back to that dope chorus. Now, the chant at the end. Here's what I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be, I will hold on, I will hold on, I will hold on. Because I wanted it to be like a choir moment with the crowd. So I asked Thomas to sing it. Thomas don't like direction. Thomas like, I'm going to do what I want to do. So he sang, I will hold on. Now, that's dope. Don't get me wrong. I will hold on. So then I was asking, so while you're doing that, can we have a BGV going, I will hold on. So imagine, I will hold on, I will. So that I could do the little youth choir, singing in around in unison stuff. You know what I'm saying? You ever been in the youth choir, you know what to do this, but that's what I used to do in the crowd. Like, so when it's time of the show, this was usually the second to the last song. Break the crowd up. I'll be like, alto, sopranos, y'all do this part. I will hold on. And it was a great moment. You know what I'm saying? If you could tell, I really enjoy performing. And this song performed well. It also made for a cool, like, sort of drum solo moment. Man, shout out Darla, Andrew, my man Andrew Knight, Jones with King's Kaleidoscope, and he's got his own stuff. Darla do hair, she'll drum here and there, but she doing her country music thing. And of course, the homie Terrence Clark played for me, who's been with Keith Urban forever, or recently, and is like, man, he's probably one of the most prolific drummers I've ever met. Anyway, you're an Olympian. So, in this season now, I've seen that at least if you are not absolutely caught up in the rapture of MAGA, where like, yo dude won, and you super excited right now. If you're not in that, it seems like the rest of the world is just like, all right, y'all got it. Like, fools is exhausted. It's like, man, I ain't finna go back and forth with y'all. Like, you got it. Y'all got, you remember the first time the man got elected, the resistance started immediately. You feel me? Like, it's tired. Like, y'all got, I ain't finna argue with y'all. Like, there's no, like, you just released 1,500. You can storm the Capitol and assault officers and get pardoned. So I guess there's nothing we can say anymore. So like, it's just like, y'all got it. But my encouragement from this song still is like, yo, you're an Olympian. You're an Olympian. All right, next week, Made Straight, Audrey Assad.